Broadcasting from the Teddy Belanger studio in Rome, New York. Welcome into episode 69 of the Avetts and Beyond. My name's Todd Emanuele. Very special guest joining me today for his second appearance on the show, fresh off of Red Rocks. Dale Martin is back on the show. Dale, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Welcome into the Teddy Belanger studio. Did you see that?
I saw that. I watched the Michael Gans episode, and I saw that.
There you go. One of the few guests in the Teddy Belanger studio, but
one of the very first.
So watch yourself. All right.
I will.
So you like literally just got back from Red Rocks, and you were there for. I mean, were you there for more than the 3 days? Did you make a whole vacation out of it?
No, not really. We got there Thursday, and we stayed in Golden at a Airbnb type place.
Yeah.
So we explored Golden a little bit Thursday, and then we did the shows. I was gonna say we mostly did the shows, but we did go see the Bernie sisters on Friday.
Yeah.
We went to Scott's art talk on Saturday. Went to the studio exhibition that he had. And then Sunday we mostly tailgated. Like we got there a little earlier. Sunday the show's an hour earlier, so we got there a little earlier.
Right. Yeah. So you got to do all the cool stuff, it seems like. And
yeah.
Tell me about the Scott Avett talk and the Bernie sisters. Now, did you go see Tanya's show as well?
No. The problem is Saturday at Red Rocks, like they all have sound check at the same time, right?
Okay.
And so they have to schedule stuff at the same time. I can't even remember. There was a third thing. There were like 3 cool things you could do. And so you had to pick and choose. We have seen Scott talk about his art twice before, although it's been a long time.
Yeah.
We went to, in the Hamptons, he gave a talk one time with Eric Fischel and some other artists, and they had like a little panel discussion, which was pretty cool. And then he and G.E. Smith played like a 5-song acoustic set together, which was...
I've seen videos of that, and they were probably your videos.
Yeah, I was the only one videoing there, so definitely. Because there were only like 50 people there. I mean, it was crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then the North Carolina Museum of Art, when Scott had the big exhibit there, like for the summer, which we saw a bunch of people, including the Boyles and other people like that. It was in Raleigh. So, and again, there was a small show for that, probably like, I don't even know, 150, 200 people. And that was Scott and Seth together, which was cool.
Oh, that is cool.
This time there was no music. Like it was just a conversation with the, I don't know, director of the Museum of Contemporary Art of Denver or something like that. If I got her
now,
title
did Scott
wrong.
come out after and mingle with the crowd or anything like that?
No, there were probably 400 people there. I think,
wow.
And he had sound check, I'm sure, Right. So if he did, anyway, we didn't see it, but like that talk was pretty interesting. It was about an hour long. I did video the whole thing and put it online. They mostly talked about his art, but they talked about some music stuff that I thought like people would find interesting. Like, he discussed kind of explicitly like what they get out of their collaboration with Rick Rubin. I don't know. Have you watched that?
I have not yet. I know you told me you recorded. I started to watch it and I couldn't finish it, and I haven't gone back.
I mean, it's an hour long. Definitely,
right. I'm definitely gonna watch it.
No, so he talked about how up through emotionalism, they would have a schedule of like, we have 10 to 13 days of studio time, so we got to like finish this album, you know what I mean? And they kind of came in, like he had written some songs, Seth had written some songs. They would definitely contribute a little bit, but like it was like, this is Seth's song and this is Scott's song. Like that's the way they kind of looked at it, And he said one of the things that they got out of working with Rick Rubin is like, this is a team effort. Everybody's contributing. Like nothing's coming in here finished, and there's no deadlines. Like we're just going to work on stuff, and when it's done, it's done. And
why it took so long for the record to come out, I assume.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It is. Yeah, it is funny. Like they definitely don't release as much as I would like, and
Right.
honestly, like they used to do a lot of like Cracker Farm videos and stuff like that, like and it seems like that has also tailed way off.
Which is sad because those were the best. Man, I
Those are
wish
super cool.
they would still do that.
I
Did
know.
Cracker Farm retire? I mean, you rarely see anything from him anymore. I know he's
He
still
was
around.
he was at Boston actually. Like he was
Okay.
at the Boston show. He
I've
was up
seen
on
pictures
stage
of him.
taking pictures. Yeah, I know he hangs out with Paul DeFiglia and Langhorne. Like you see that
Right.
on
Yeah.
social media. Like I think he's neighbors with them in
Oh, okay.
Nashville. With one of them anyway, that lives pretty close to one of them. Um, yeah, and it was interesting to see him in Boston because it had been a long time since we had seen him with the Avets.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that Boston show was crazy. I don't know if you know much about it, but like it was forecast to rain all day, and then it held off all day, and then it's like Sierra Farrell hit the stage, and then it just started dumping rain. I
Oh
mean,
my
it was, and then the temperature dropped 30 degrees, and it poured rain for 3 hours. I mean, like we were soaked to the bone.
great
Um,
memories.
but honestly, it was still such a great show. I mean, like I feel like everybody that was up front and like in on the action, the band, like they're like, thank you so much for for staying here, and you know what I mean. And they
Oh,
put on a great show. I mean, I think they could see I'm playing for these people that are committed. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's awesome. Now, my producer, Ryan Boyles, put up a note that I find interesting talking about Cracker Farm. He
Uh huh.
said he knows some information here. He says he lives in Nashville and co-owns an Airbnb with Langhorne Slim.
Ah, well, there you go.
So
There you
that's
go.
cool. So I guess he's too busy to take videos and pictures anymore
I
of
think
it.
I think he and Langhorne are pretty tight. I mean,
I've seen
yeah,
lots of pictures of them together. So yeah.
yeah, yep,
Oh, that's cool. So man, and Sierra Farrell, rain or shine, whatever, she's awesome no matter what. You just mentioned
yeah.
just popped through my head again, but man, I
Yeah,
love
her new album is so good.
spectacular.
Like her first album, I listened to it a few times. I'm not super enthusiastic about it. Like I probably should listen to it more now. But like her new album, it's just like my mind was blown the first
Yeah,
time I listened to it.
it's spectacular. My
Yeah.
my family came with me to the one show we went to this year in uh I'm blanking on the city that we went to. My gosh. Uh,
Canandaigua.
yeah, Canandaigua, thank you.
Yep.
You think I was the one with jet lag coming back from Red Rocks, but my memory today. It's been a long day today. And my fire alarm keeps going off in my house as we have the remnants of that hurricane over us. So that's kind of freaking me out. But we're good. We're all good.
Everything's
Anyway,
fine.
what's that?
Yes. Everything's fine. Don't worry
Everything's
about it.
fine. It's all good. But my family, we all saw that, and my family loved Sierra Farrell. Like they were blown away by her. And I had
Yeah.
seen her open for the Avets before when it was just her and a guitar. And it was like, wow, this girl is something else. So much better with the band that she has now. They were just phenomenal. It was so good.
My one of my brothers-in-law has a bluegrass show on Moab Public Radio every 2 weeks,
Nice.
and he's one of the organizers of the Moab Folk Fest too.
Okay.
Um, and he played one of her songs a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about one of the members of the band is like Earl Scruggs' grandson or something like that. It's like somebody like that and some relationship like that.
No
But he
kidding.
was going on about how great her band was, and I
They're
thought,
awesome.
well, they were awesome. I thought, well, that explains it. Yeah.
All right. So back to the Red Rocks thing.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, you saw the art thing is amazing. I got to watch that video.
Yeah.
The Bernie sisters. You got to see the Bernie sisters out there. They went on quite a run out on the West to see them in New Mexico and then saw the 3 shows in at Red Rocks as well. But they performed out there. You got
Yeah.
tell me about that and that whole. They are so amazing. So
They
amazing.
are so amazing. Yeah, that's the second time I've seen them. It was actually the first time Mary saw them because I went with my daughter Kara. When they played in Scranton, Pennsylvania, right? Like we went and to Michael's show
Right.
and saw them, and that was when it was 3 of them. This is the first time I've seen it with just the 2 of them. They were excellent. They were really, really good, and there was a benefit for Press On that was going on at the residence that this was all taking place at. there's like a silent auction and had like raffles and stuff like that going on, and that raised like I want to say close to $5,000, which was nice.
Yeah,
But
that's
I cannot say enough good things about the Bernie sisters. I just feel like, you know, they're so fantastic and they're very young. I feel like they've got a very bright future if they, you know, if they stick to it and they take that opportunity, you know.
which I think they will. I mean,
Yeah.
they're heading in the right direction. That is for sure. It's amazing. Like you saw them as the trio, but to
Hmm.
see them as the duo a couple years removed from that, like they've grown so
So
much.
much. So much.
She's an absolute powerhouse. Her voice is unreal. And Bella's really the harmonies they have are you just can't beat. I always talk about it, the blood harmonies. You can't beat that.
That's
Man,
right.
they're so good. They are so good. And I hope
I
they stick together and stick with it because they are going places.
yeah, and um, Emma is an excellent musician all around. Like her playing is really good. And I said to their mom, you know, Bella's bass playing has it's like gotten incredible in the last 2 years. You
Yep.
know, I mean, like she's really developed her technique a lot. So and her mom said that she practices constantly, like she's obsessed with it. So
Constantly. If you follow like their TikTok, it's always videos of like her messing around on bass and stuff like that. It's
mhm.
fun to follow them and see what they do, but they're dedicated and they are super talented. And
Mhm.
they've been guests on my show a couple times, and someday I'm gonna get to say I had those girls on before they were winning Grammys or something like.
I bought an autographed poster
There you
at
go.
their show, thinking the same thing. Like
Yep.
someday, not
Someday this is gonna be a sought after item because
yeah,
they're awesome. But anyway, cool for them to travel around. And they really have a nice little following starting too, that they run into people in every city thanks to the Avets and
yep.
the fans of the Avett brothers. They picked the right community to join in with, I think.
To embed in, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because they're gonna
One,
support no matter what. Avid fans are very loyal. So
what?
speaking of the Avids, we talk about all this other Red Rock stuff. Tell me
Mhm.
about the shows. I mean, that was pretty awesome 3 days, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, all 3 nights were excellent. You know, the openers were all good. Like the first night was Little Feat, the second night, Melissa Etheridge, third night, Dawes. The surprise for me of the openers was Melissa Etheridge. Like
Heard she like
was
killed it, right?
so good. She killed it. Everybody was up on their feet. Like it was super super cool. I don't know how you feel about Dawes. I know
I like
they're a little controversial. I would say like in the Avett community maybe.
why though. I've heard this and I don't know why.
I a
What
lot
have
of
you
people a lot of people really like them and a lot of people don't like them. I'm
why?
one of the one of the few I guess that's kind of neutral. I mean like they have a lot of songs I like.
Yeah. That's how
But
I feel too. I'm not
yeah.
super into them, but I like their
Some
music.
people are super into them. Some
Okay.
people are. Anyway, yeah, and so the first night, you know, they opened with Never Apart, right? Like they did the vocal prelude and Never Apart. Like they'd opened every show this run. You know what I mean? Um, and the show kind of was taking that trajectory, which I'm not surprised. Like we should talk about the new album also after we
Well,
talk
we
about
will.
Red Rocks. Yeah, you know, I love the new album. Was super happy to hear those songs again. Um,
We'll get to that.
yes. And I'm trying to think what I should have brought the set list up because I get the nights mixed up. Um,
I can pull them up. Hold on.
sure, sure.
Ryan might be able to pull them right up on the screen here. If we
Ryan is part of Team Dawes.
He is their team dogs.
Another Dawes comment, like you know. I by the way, I will go on every aside. So if you want to like keep me reined in, that's fine. But um, I you know I'm okay with Dawes. I like some Dawes songs. I will say, like, we go to Newport Folk every year, and Taylor Goldsmith has been there many of the years doing other stuff. You know, I mean, like playing behind people, or like he was on stage when Joni Mitchell played and stuff like that. Everything I've ever seen him do uh, at Newport has been amazing. Like every single thing. Like the guy is a great, great musician. I will say that. And do you know the band Middle Brother?
I think I've heard of them. I'm not familiar with the music though. Someone's brought
So
them up before on the show. I think we have set lists coming up here, possibly.
all right.
Yeah. Well, go on. Continue.
Um, so middle brother is Taylor Goldsmith, and trying to remember the other two guys' name. The Jonathan from Deer Tick, and the guy from Delta Spirit, Matt something.
I have heard of them. Yes.
Yeah, they only have one album. It's fantastic, and like we saw them play a set at Newport, and they were just so good. So I have a fourth song now that we talked about that.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yes. Now that we brought them up, let's go with it.
Look how awesome Ryan is.
He is so good.
All three set lists right next to each other.
There you go.
This is why I pay him the big bucks to be my producer on the show.
I figured. all your advertisement dollars go straight to him.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
So for the radio portion of this, people that can't see this right now, first night they opened with Never Part, as you said. Did you think when they played that, because they have started every show with that, did you think you were going to get the whole album in a row? Thinking,
not necessarily. Like I would have liked it if they had played Same Broken Bones. Like I liked the song, and I would have liked it. They never played it, so like I'm still missing that one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when they got to even Down with the Shine, like I hadn't seen it this year. This Friday night was my fourth show, if you don't count New Year's. And so I was happy to see that. And then obviously they played November Blue. That's always extremely special, you know, and the crowd is always very into that.
Absolutely.
I hadn't seen Sanguine in a long time.
Tim said that it'd been, I can't remember the number of shows, but it was a lot of shows since they played that one.
Yeah, I actually thought that I had never seen it, but I looked it up and they played it at Port Chester one of the years I was there. So.
Thank you, Tim Mossberger, for that.
Yeah, exactly. Open-ended life, pretty girl from Michigan. I mean, come on, like anytime. Yeah, like so, and then the closing with Life, which it's been a while. So I was real happy. Did you see what they cut from that set list though?
I think I heard. I can't remember.
Yeah, so it's like Nothing Short of Thankful.
Was Please Pardon Yourself cut one of the nights too?
Maybe it was Please Pardon Yourself.
That was cut one of the. I don't know if that was night one or night two.
Slight Figure of Speech. There was a third, but yeah, out of the encore. I always would like to ask, like, why did you do that? They swapped in Prettiest Thing.
They didn't have a time limit there, right? There was no curfew.
I actually don't know.
Because of curfews, obviously.
Yeah. I always just wonder. Maybe they're just getting tired. I mean, like you know, you can't fault them for that. Like if they don't feel like they're going to be able to do a good job or whatever.
And sometimes they're probably just not feeling it if they don't want to play it.
Yeah.
We've seen them argue on stage before about wanting to play or not play a song over the years. So maybe someone vetoed it and they just didn't play it.
But I'm very happy anytime they play The Prettiest Thing. Like I love that song. I think it's fun. The crowd loves it. You know, I always tell my wife, like I always lean over. I'm like, oh, it's about you, you know, which I feel in my heart. We met at a bar, so like I joke about that too.
Were you drinking PBRs?
We were drinking Rolling Rock, so I usually substitute that.
Oh. That's unfortunate. That's still funny.
Yeah. So then second night, I guess like first of all, And It Spread, like haven't seen that very many times. I love that song.
Yeah.
I was super happy when they played that. We love the song Shame. That's kind of like Mary and I consider that like our song for various reasons. Especially the part about like needing a helping hand, you know, and Scott always says, don't say you don't. It's like about you just need to remember, don't take each other for granted, you know, I just love that about that song. I feel like I've joked that it's a very realistic love song. You know what I mean? Like, because it's very easy to like take each other for granted. And, you know,
yeah, I hear you.
And then Souls Like the Wheels.
Oh, right.
Seth solo, only the third time it's ever been played that way. I
Have
don't know
you
if you.
seen it any other time where you want
So
to?
I'm getting there. So like,
Oh,
did you see
sorry.
Ed White posted on Facebook today? He was at two of them. Was anybody else at two of them? And so there were a bunch of comments. A lot of people. I was at Syracuse. I wasn't at Red Rocks. Mary was at Syracuse and at Red Rocks. So she was like one of 4 or 5 people that were at two of them. I haven't seen anybody say they were at all three. Um, Mary was there with our daughter Kara. I was not there, so like this is my first time seeing it like that.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna say you were at all three.
No, no,
Well,
no.
between you and Mary, you've been to two of them, so there you go.
Well, Mary's been to
Mary,
two.
all right,
Mary is at two. Lindsay, Aki, Akiyama, and Ed White. There were a few people that had been at two. Um, so anyway, that was all exciting. I was happy that they didn't do a lot of repeats of the new album because I was kind of went into it thinking maybe they're going to open with Never Apart. I mean, there are people that were not there Friday night. Like maybe they
sure.
got to play Country Kid, maybe they got to play Love of a Girl.
I
Um,
noticed that they didn't repeat a lot of them.
yeah, so that was cool. And then like the encore again. Anytime they play The Perfect Space, I'm happy. I love that song. They play it kind of a medium amount, but not tons. So that was cool.
Yep.
The covers they did, As Good as I Once Was. That was cool. It was unique. The three of them came up, and you're looking at that going, "Oh, it's gonna be I Wish I Was." I mean, we always. I don't know how you are, but we always lean over based on the instruments. Like, oh, it's gonna be Cheap Coffee. Like, it's gonna be like, oh, Scott's got that hollow body guitar. It's gonna be Cheap Coffee. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
I've done that.
For
I haven't been to enough shows to really do that. Not
for a
like
long time it was like, oh, he's got the Dale Earnhardt guitar, it's going to be Clearness. Like that's the only song they use that on. um so anyway, yeah,
he played that Dale Earnhardt guitar for every time he played electric guitar at the Canandaigua show I was at this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get to that when we talk about the new album. I have a theory about that though.
Ooh, okay.
Yes. um
There goes my smoke alarm again.
okay.
I don't know if you can hear. I'm sure you can.
I can.
Yeah.
So then of course,
It's
I'm
all
sorry,
good.
go ahead.
No, it's all good. Go on.
Yeah, so then you see like the third night they opened with Down in the Valley to Pray, and it was interesting because Bonnie and Jim were not with them.
When I saw that was the first song, I assumed that it was Bonnie and Jim and the boys.
It's going to be a gospel set. Yeah, that's
Right.
what I thought. Yeah.
But it
So that
was
was
just Scott, Seth, and Bob, right?
yeah, yeah, that was interesting. And then I on my tabulation had D-Bag as the opener, and they added Down in the Valley to Pray, like it's not on their set list. So I should have had more points in my tabulation.
Wait a second though. I totally forgot about the tabulation. Mr. Perfect Score over here. I thought I was going to introduce you, and I totally forgot to do that.
Yeah.
The first night, now the people that don't know what tabulation is, you can explain it to them a little bit here. But how in the world did you end up with a perfect score? Nobody's ever done that before.
Okay, so tabulation is because the Avett brothers mix up their set list so much. When there's a 3-night run, in one of the Facebook groups, there's a game called Tabulation that's played. And so you pick 5 regular set songs, you pick 2 open, like for in the category of open, close, or encore, you pick a cover, and then you pick 2 wild cards. And the definition of wild card is a song they've played less than 5 times.
Right.
Yeah, right. In the last 12 months. So I many times have thought that like this is going to be a perfect score. It's going to be the first perfect score. I've thought that many times. But I've never been close. Usually like the more confident I am, the worse it is. You know what I mean?
No one ever does it. I mean,
Yeah.
no one's ever even been close before, I don't think.
I don't know about that.
Semi-close, but not anyway. So you nailed the first night.
Yeah, so I thought, the first night I'm like, they're going to play the songs they've been playing off the new album. Like they're definitely playing "Love of a Girl." They're definitely playing "Country Kid." You know,
Yeah.
and I love "Cheap Coffee." So I really played it this time where I did not listen to my heart at all. I just kind of like did more of a statistical calculation, like, okay, night one, what are they likely to play? Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Well, yeah, I
Um,
think you nailed it.
and yeah, and then this is not cheating. I was going to call it cheating. It's not cheating. I heard what they sound checked. Lots of people did. Often that gets discussed on Facebook, like what they sound checked.
But they don't
And
always play with they sound check, so
I know. Yeah, so if I hadn't, I did a last minute edit and put "Pretty Girl from Michigan" in because they had sound checked it.
lucky.
Um, I'm trying to remember what the other one was that I had for the wild card. I already had that, like whatever it was. I can't remember now. Um,
New songs or
Maybe November Blue. I think November Blue. And again, by the way, like several of my wild cards, they had played 5 times, not 6. Do you know what I mean? And so
yeah,
like, and I don't want to give away a secret, but I feel like, okay, if they've played something 5 times in the last year, like they've got it ready to go. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
sure.
not a deep stretch for them.
That's
So
not
anyway,
cheating,
yeah.
that's strategically planning. That was smart.
Yeah, yeah. I think I had SSS originally,
Oh,
and I switched it for "Pretty Girl from Michigan," and
good.
then yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was the perfect score. And then like the second night, I didn't do as well. I mean, I didn't do bad, but I didn't do as well. And then I was surprised. Like the third night, I was surprised. I got like 20 something points, which is a high score. I mean, like
Yeah,
really. And um,
you
but it was
blew
funny.
away the competition, by the way. It wasn't even close.
Well, part of what helped me out was that like for the third night, like I still hadn't scored on Head Full of Doubt or Murder, you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, I'm putting these down now because I think they will still play them, you
Right.
know. I did
Everyone
have
play
long
Murder one night?
uh
I'm trying to look quick here.
yeah. I thought they played it twice. Yeah, they played it twice.
Okay.
Night one and
Oh,
two.
yeah, night 1
Yeah,
and
it's
2.
funny. I'm having
Okay.
to read it. Yeah. Um so anyway,
Yeah,
that
sorry.
that was cool. That was exciting. You
Did
know.
you win a prize?
No.
No? Just
No.
just
I get
pride?
to get yeah, I just now am called Mr. Perfect Score, right?
Mr. Perfect Score. To come on a podcast because of it too, right?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Well, yeah, real exciting. But anyway, that's the perfect score blew me away. I'm like, how? You must be a time traveler. I think I commented that somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's a time traveler. You're like, you got me. I am.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not. I can time travel for one thing. It'll be tabulation. I'm not doing it on the stock market or like a horse race or
Or
sports betting.
the Mega Millions numbers.
Right.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
if you are a time traveler, let's talk after because maybe we can do that and we can split the money. Anyway,
yeah.
all right. So why don't we transition the? So Red Rocks was awesome. All 3 nights were great. The last night when Scott sang, what was that kid's name that he sang "Ain't No Man With"? I'm blanking on his name right now. Was it
I
Ethan?
I
The
actually
boy in the front that
no, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know
yeah.
his name.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was such a cool moment. That was like
that was very cool.
quintessential Avett family love. Just it was so great and so real and so cool that I hope that moment never goes away and like they always show that because Scott's joy and he was just so happy in them. It was really cool, and the whole crowd, I guess, was crying around there when that happened.
Yeah,
Really emotional.
yeah. It
So
was super cool, and I'm super impressed with him because you know, in that moment, I might have been like, "What are the words?" You know what I mean? I might have completely locked up. So
yeah, and he nailed it.
he nailed it. It was
He nailed it.
really, really cool.
That
And
was
I
very
guess
cool.
the other thing Sunday night that was remarkable was that they dedicated the show
Yes, I forgot about that.
to
Right.
Rusty, who I guess was a 65-year-old fan who like went into cardiac arrest after the show that night.
Yeesh.
And we had Friday night. We
That was right.
walked
Right.
Yeah, Friday night we walked up. We were parked in the upper north lot, and I'm like, well, you got to climb all the way up there anyway. It's just like, do you do it like up these steep steps inside the venue, or do you go around? And so like, let's just go up. So like, we went up there, and first of all, it being steep makes it a lot harder. You know what I mean? And then the second thing is like, you have to go way up above. Like, you go way above the north lot, and then you come back down this hill. You know what I mean? And so it's like actually an extra climb too. So by the time we got up there, I mean, like, I'm just like, wow, this is a serious climb. So just food for thought. If you ever go, like, that is a big climb. Take it easy going up there.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I wonder if that contributed to the
I I
that's
wondered too, because it was up. It happened up there.
yeah,
So
that's really sad.
it
But
is
that was
very
very
sad.
nice of them to, and then they've done stuff like this before where they
Yeah.
dedicate shows to someone. Obviously, they care about their fans and it shows. And here,
Mhm.
Rusty passed away after their show, and they dedicated the next show to him and sang that song. That oof, boy, that's an emotional one. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, there was one other time we saw them do Through My Prayers for somebody that had recently passed away, and we were with their family when they played it,
oh man,
and we were all in tears. I mean, like, it was so emotional. Like, even Sunday night, it's like, I didn't know Rusty, I didn't know his daughter.
yeah,
But like, we were so choked up. I mean, like, it was just so beautiful that they dedicated that to him and then did that song.
very
So
nice. They are awesome
yeah.
people. And they
Yes.
proved that multiple times during the 3 nights at Red Rocks. All right, new
Yes.
album. I know you want to talk about that. We're running out of time because this always happens. We
Yeah.
end up just talking about whatever and we run over. But the good thing about this is there's no time limit and it won't
No
come.
hard.
So
Yeah.
I may not be able to play a lot of music on the show, but let's talk about the album and what you
So
want
I,
to do.
so I have. Let's see if we'll find out now that I'm saying this. On this podcast, if this is a controversial theory or not. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So what do you think about Closer Than Together?
What do I think of it?
Yeah,
I I actually love the album.
I do too. I mean, I love it. Like, I love all their albums.
Yeah. There's
Uh,
songs on there that I would listen to over some of the old stuff.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know.
But
Go on.
like, with fans, it was a very controversial album.
Yes, and it still is, and people talk
Yeah.
about how much they don't like it all the time, and that drives me crazy because I really enjoy it.
Yeah, me too.
Except for a song, there might be one song or two songs that aren't my favorite, but most of them I love.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think the Third Gleam is also, again, like, I don't want to like stir up any big controversy, but
I love it.
it's the weakest of the Gleams. It's still a great album.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
think
love the
I
album.
think so. I
That was
love it.
that came out when I really first started listening to the Avetts, so I ate that album up. I
Yeah,
love every song on there.
I mean, I really like it. There's one song I don't like. I really like most of it.
Which song do
Um,
you like?
I don't want to talk about that.
Ah,
So
man.
anyway, there was so much backlash. Like, like, it's too political. They've become too woke, all that kind of stuff. So, Love of a Girl came out. I'm like, gosh, this almost sounds like a Green Day song or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it is really interesting that was the first single. And then
That's what
Country,
I heard too was Green Day when they played that when the first time.
yeah.
Anyway,
And then Country Kid came out, and by the way, I grew up in a super rural place. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up 5 miles outside of a town of 500 people. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up out in the woods.
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
like, I love that song. Like, it really resonates for me. Like, everything they talk about, we did. Like, literally, we had a party in the woods, and my sister was having this party. We were throwing soda cans in the bonfire. They were exploding hot soda all over our friends. It was, I mean, this is like my childhood. So I love that. So anyway, when we put on the new album the first time, and it's like, it goes right into the banjo, and then like the whole album, the way it's themed and everything, I feel like was to lure the old fans back. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's completely not political. It's like really tugging at your heartstrings. Like, don't you feel like anybody who's in their 40s or older who has had kids, like, they are really going to connect with this album? Like, that's, you know,
Yeah. Like you pointed out, and I can't remember the guy's name. Wait, yes, I can. It's Mark Bloom. This
yeah,
post that he had where he described his take on the album, and it's a whole running story of their lives. And
Mhm.
is that kind of how you feel the same way, or?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, again, like Cheap Coffee, um, like the first time we heard it, like our jaws were on the floor. You know what I mean? Like just like lyrically, and it's a beautiful song too. I saw somebody describe it as kind of like a Wilco song. I love
Mm.
Wilco. I'm down with that. You know what I mean? So
And that song's been around for a while too. I mean, he played it like 7 or 8 years ago at some event.
I'm sure it was very different. Like I actually haven't gone and chased that down.
I've watched it. I think it's on my Avets and Beyond Facebook page if you scroll back a ways.
Hmm.
But it's just him and the guitar because he was at one of those art
Yeah.
talks and he played that song. And it's the way he did it. When I heard it was on the album, I was hoping that's how it would be on the album, just him
Hmm.
and the guitar. But I love how they did it. I
Yeah.
absolutely love how they did it on the album. Anyway, it's a beautiful song.
Yeah. So I had said to one of my daughters, like we talk about stuff like this all the time. I'm like, um, they're rebranding. I mean, like they're kind of like trying to bring their brand back. Do you know what I mean? Like, and pull people back in. And I don't think they're really that calculating. So don't take that too seriously. But like, I also don't think that. I think there's a high chance that they had that some conversation about that. Do you know what
Do
I
you really
mean?
think that they listened to the backlash from people with Closer Than Together and said, "We gotta do something different next time"?
I mean, I doubt it was again that calculated, but I also think that maybe it was in the back of their minds. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean?
okay.
Um, and so I had expressed that theory to my daughter, and then we go see them in Boston, and that Dale Earnhardt guitar is out on the stage so much. Like it had gone from like it was only for one song, you know what I mean? Clearness.
Yeah.
And now he's got it out there like and every time we've seen him, like he's been using it a lot. And I
Yeah,
just
Can
think
of
like,
Vapor, like I said, he used it
yeah.
during that whole show.
And that fits my rebranding, like theory, right? I mean, I'm just saying like trying to pull that segment
Hmm.
of the audience back in, right? Dale
It's
Earnhardt fans.
You wonder
Anyway.
if it's a subconscious thing though on there, like if they're just transitioning, doing new things, but they're going trying to I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. This is why I need to get Scott and Seth on the show and talk to them, but
They
they would never
won't tell you.
they won't
they
answer.
won't
I know.
they
They'll
won't
probably
tell you
start talking and then just go off on a tangent about something else, and we'll never get the answers. But I would still like to have them on though if they're listening. That'd be cool.
So
Um,
my last statement about the album, everybody, like again, I've seen a lot of people say it's their best album since X, like, and sometimes X is emotionalism. A lot
right.
of people say The Carpenter. For me, it's Magpie. Like, I think it's the best since Magpie. I think Magpie is brilliant. This album's brilliant. The two albums in between, I love. I mean, and they are brilliant. They're just not quite as like for me. There's a couple songs I don't like on each one. So which is a first. Those two albums, that was a first.
Is
So
there any songs on the new album that you don't like? It's only 9
n-
songs.
no, no, I
Okay.
love the whole thing. I when we put it on, we usually play the whole thing like end to
Me
end.
too.
So
It's so
I,
short, which
yeah,
is nice because it's easy just to listen to the whole thing. I think I've listened to the whole album almost at least once, maybe twice a day since it came out. So much
yeah.
listen to it, and it's grown on me so much. I absolutely love it, and I can't believe they haven't played Same Broken Bones yet off
Hmm.
in any of the shows. I never in a million years thought they wouldn't play it at Red Rocks because it was
Yeah.
3 shows. Throw it in there once, but I wonder why. Like, is it hard to sing? Because it's most in its big acapella parts, but they sing acapella. They do that kind of stuff sometimes. Like,
I don't
why?
know.
Why aren't
Yeah.
they
I mean,
doing
come on, they're opening the show a cappella. Like, you know
right?
how hard that would be, right? I
Right
mean,
with that vocal intro.
the
That's not easy to sing.
and
Uh,
actually, that's the same melody,
yes,
right?
it is. It's I was just gonna say
Yeah,
it's the same
yeah,
tune, it's the same Broken One. So
yeah.
maybe they kind of have sung it, but without singing the words. So they have. Um, anyway, it's such a great album. I absolutely love it. Um, okay, so I always have the guest pick music. You went off and you started doing it without me even asking you because you were a guest before on the show. So what
Mhm.
songs did you pick for me to play around this?
So Cheap Coffee, but there's a song by the band Bonnie Light Horseman. Do you know them? Have you heard of them?
No, but I looked up this other song when you
Yeah.
told me the other
Yeah,
day.
so Bonnie Light Horseman has 3 albums out. I love their first album. It was like our pandemic album. We listened to it,
Oh, nice.
500 times, like, and still listen to it a lot. And their latest album that just came out is just as good. Like I really, really love it. And there's a song on there called When I Was Younger. Um, and I feel like thematically it connects. You listen to When I Was Younger, then you listen to Cheap Coffee. It tells a little story,
Yep.
and they're both just really beautiful songs. They're very different, but they're both really beautiful songs.
So those are two of the songs.
Two of the songs.
What else?
And then the new Felice Brothers album just came out. I love the Felice Brothers. They're the
Saw
other,
your post about them.
yeah, they're the other brothers band that, like, anytime they're playing anywhere near me, I'm going to that show because they're so fun live. And I also put them in the category of, they basically don't have any bad songs. I mean, like, you go listen to any album, any song, like, you're going to get something out of it. It's going to be a good song.
That's
So, of course, now I'm blanking on the name. There's a song on the new album. I'm going to look it up right now. It's like raccoon, crow, and something. Of course,
This is where Ryan should play the Jeopardy music.
Yes. Raccoon, rooster, and crow, I think.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Yeah, raccoon, rooster, and crow. So I picked that. Like, that tells a nice story. I guess the only downside of it is that it's maybe 5 minutes long. So I don't know how much time we've got, but if you have time, those are the 3 songs.
There'll be plenty of time. So did you pick one more? I thought you said you had 4 songs.
Oh, well, because then you said we wouldn't have time. So the 4th song would be this song by Middle Brother called $1 Million Bill.
I'll play it. Let's go.
Okay. So do you know SSS, right? I mean,
yeah, sure.
You know the story behind SSS?
Tell me.
So it's Scott, Seth, and then one of their friends whose name I don't remember. Maybe Ryan will put it in, but like also starts with S. And they each wrote a verse about love.
Yes. Okay, I've heard this.
And so, like, if you look at the 3 verses, like, they're each telling some story about love, right? $1 Million Bill is 3 different guys wrote verses about getting dumped and what they're going to do. And it happens to be sung by the 3 guys, right? Nice. I mean, so each of them sings one verse. And then the other thing I love about it is that it sounds like 100% it belongs on the album American Beauty by the Grateful Dead. Like, it's got that vibe, that kind of harmony. Like, it's just a really cool song. The lyrics are great. This is a theme for me. Like, that raccoon, rooster, and crow song, like, you're going to listen to it. You're going to be like, what a dark, weird song, and it's like this folk song that turns very dark at the end, like, lyrically, but I love it. So
cool. I'll probably lead the show off with that one because it sounds really good. I haven't heard that one, but I'm going to lead the show off with it. All right.
Well, all right.
I think we are out of time. I thank you so much for coming on. Did you like the new video they put out? You got to see it at Red Rocks before it got released.
Yeah, it's super, super cool. I need to really sit down and watch it. Like, it was on the screens, and it's not like I wasn't paying super, super attention to it, but what I saw, I really liked.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times, and you see something new each time. So definitely.
I'm sure. That's what I'm saying. I got to, like, really focus on it.
Yeah. Really fun stuff. All right, Dale, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. And we'll have to get you back on again because you're always a good guest and always have interesting stuff to talk about. So thank you, Dale Martin, for coming on.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate the invitation.